wish it on him, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? I don't wish it on him. And I love him through it. Whatever he going through, I love him through it. Much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact.
Yes, that's right. Lawyer Tyrone Blackburn is going to authorities, asking and encouraging state and federal prosecutors to start a criminal investigation into T.I. and Tamika Harris, aka Tiny, on behalf of 11 accusers.
Atlanta was asleep, or at least it was supposed to be, but at 3 a.m. the silence didn't just break, it shattered. What unfolded next would send shockwaves through the entire world. King Harris, son of hip-hop royals T.Y. and Tiny, was rushed into Grady Memorial's ICU, barely alive. Machines kept him breathing, alarms screamed from every corner of the room. And somewhere in that chaos, a doctor
Try to take the good with the bad and just let them know. You go into prison if you keep it up.
whispered a sentence that chilled the Harris family to their core. Prepare for the worst. But what made fans stop breathing too was the news that quickly followed. It wasn't just a medical emergency, it was something far darker, but it gets worse. The deeper you go into this story, the more insane it gets.
Him being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, you know, it just, he just don't.
Inside Grady Memorial Hospital, things were spiraling fast. King's fragile body was strapped down, surrounded by wires, screens, and panicked doctors who couldn't keep up with how fast things were declining. Every new beep from the machines felt more ominous than the last. Outside his room, Tiny, his mother, collapsed to the hospital floor.
Walk out, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
Screaming so loudly that the entire floor froze. Nurses had to lift her up as she trembled violently, repeating, "No, not my baby." That gut-wrenching scene was caught on camera, and before the sun even rose, it was everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. The tag hashtag #PrayForKing exploded into a global trend, but the hope behind it was quickly shadowed by something far more terrifying: revelation. Because just when the world started to pray, the first disturbing leak hit the web.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing about reality, it's all real, it's all natural, but some things are, you know what I'm saying, some things are needed for the climax and the rise. And
A supposed medical document leaked anonymously suggested that King's injuries weren't just from a fight. His wounds carried patterns too deliberate, too calculated. They didn't look like punches or kicks. They looked like methods, torture methods, circular bruises, restraint marks, deep internal trauma. People weren't buying the jailhouse brawl story anymore. Then the next shockwave. Audio surfaced allegedly from inside the prison. A grainy whisper from a guard captured just 6 words that flipped the internet upside down. The order came from above. We just cleared the way. In that moment, the narrative changed forever. This wasn't just violence. This was a message. And that's when people started pointing fingers at everyone, from rival gangs to politicians to even music industry elites. Everyone became a suspect. Blogs lit up, conspiracy threads went viral, but then came the terrifying claim that made everything worse. Sources online claimed masked men had slipped into the ICU late at night, caught on security footage bending over King's hospital bed. One adjusted machines, the other stood guard near the door. The footage cut off before showing more. If it's real, it proves King wasn't even safe in one of the city's most secure hospitals. And the most chilling part, hospital staff weren't just shaken. Some of them were scared to talk, because what happened next was sabotage in the literal sense. One whistleblower nurse went on the record anonymously claiming King's ventilator mysteriously powered off in the middle of the night for nearly 10 seconds before emergency alarms went off. But when they tried to pull the hospital recordings from that exact moment, gone. The files had vanished. Around the same time, hacktivist groups claimed they broke into the hospital systems and found something far darker: toxic foreign substances in King's blood. Not medication, not drugs from the jail, something else entirely. Their statement: They're not saving King, and they're finishing him. That quote spiraled across social media like wildfire, and by morning the protest began. But outside the hospital, things were erupting into complete chaos. Hundreds of fans flooded the streets in front of Grady Memorial Hospital, holding candles, signs, and shouting, "Protect King." Police formed barricades, helicopters hovered, even family members turned on each other. Tiny's relatives allegedly blamed T.I., accusing him of cursing the family through his past life. T.I. snapped back, screaming, "This ain't karma, this is murder." His rage was caught on camera, fists clenched, voice breaking, eyes swollen from grief. Clips of a father emotionally unraveling instantly went viral. But despite everything, King's condition wasn't getting better. In fact, it took the most terrifying turn yet. And it all started with 5 chilling words whispered by a doctor: discuss letting him go. Around 5 a.m., T.I. and Tiny were pulled aside by doctors and delivered the worst conversation any parent can ever face. If he doesn't improve soon, we may have to talk about letting him go. That sentence hit like a nuclear bomb. Tiny collapsed again, screaming so loudly that staff said it shook the entire floor. Witnesses claimed she had to be sedated from pure shock. But then came the leak that flipped grief into full-blown paranoia. A recorded call, allegedly from someone connected to Georgia's prison system, made it onto the internet. Muffled but unmistakable, the voice on the tape said, "If the boy talks, everything collapses. He can't leave that bed alive." That revelation hit Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram like a lightning bolt. Comments poured in. People didn't just think this was a cover-up anymore. They believed King knew something worth silencing. Was King Harris carrying information that could take down major players? Was this about something bigger than a jail fight, or even his father? That one voice recording gave rise to 1,000 theories. Some fans claimed King had quietly been recording conversations, possibly about corruption, business deals, even people in the entertainment world. Rumors swirled that he was preparing to drop music exposing secrets inside the industry, and suddenly, the idea that this was just violence vanished. Even T.I. seemed to hint at it, tearfully telling reporters, "This is planned." They don't care about saving him. They just want him gone before he can speak. And then the celebrities started speaking out, and things escalated fast. Cardi B hopped on live, crying, "That baby don't deserve this. I don't care about what you think of his daddy. Pray for King." Millions flooded her comments with broken heart emojis and prayers. But Snoop Dogg's words added something darker. He simply wrote, "The industry ain't what it seems. Protect your kids." Then came 50 Cent, calling out unnamed industry snakes he claimed were behind it. And Kanye, he dropped the most cryptic, blood-freezing comment of all. "This is what happens when you say no to them. They punish your bloodline." What were they all hinting at? Nobody would say names, but everyone knew what it sounded like, because if King wasn't the real target, was the Harris family being warned into silence? As if the nightmare couldn't get worse, a whistleblower nurse claimed King had already flatlined. For nearly 2 full minutes, his heart had stopped completely before doctors brought him back using paddles, a clinical death. That word alone shattered fans. He died, even if just for those 120 seconds. That's not speculation, that's horror. Parents around the world watched in tears as clips of Tiny clinging to a rosary outside the ICU went viral. She was shaking uncontrollably, past the point of hope, whispering, "Please bring my baby back." The leak of that near-death moment only added fuel to the theory someone wanted King trapped between life and death, but what came next sent the internet into a frenzy like never before. Anonymous hackers didn't just hint at sabotage, they posted the files, screenshots of what appeared to be medical reports showing foreign chemicals running through King's bloodstream, substances not listed in any official treatment records. Then came the final blow. Supposed hospital footage surfaced. 2 masked men, one holding what looked like a small silver case, standing just outside King's room. Theories exploded. Was it poison? Was it equipment to tamper with his machines? Even if fake, the timing was too perfect to ignore because that footage hit the web just hours before another major explosion, protests turning into riots. By the time the sun set again, Atlanta didn't look like Atlanta anymore. What started as a vigil had spiraled into a full-blown uprising. Thousands filled the streets outside Grady Memorial Hospital. Protesters clashed with riot police. Tear gas blurred the air. Live streams exploded across TikTok and Instagram, with millions watching in real time as the hospital turned into something unrecognizable, a battleground. Fans screamed justice for King and Pao, and we see the cover-up as police sirens echoed through the chaos. Inside, things were no calmer. Doctors, exhausted, shaken, whispered words most ICUs never want to hear: multi-organ failure. King's system was crashing in suárez and fast. T.I. and Tiny refused to leave his bedside. Nurses reportedly had to physically restrain Tiny from ripping cords out of anger and fear. Meanwhile, T.I. was heard outside the ICU yelling, "If my son dies, this ends. I swear to God, this ends." And then came the new bombshell, the second death. Another nurse stepped forward anonymously, this time claiming that earlier in the night, King had been declared clinically dead again. For nearly 2 whole minutes, there was no pulse. The staff brought him back using emergency defibrillators, not once, but twice. And this time, it wasn't just whispers. A voice recording leaked of one nurse screaming, "Huyo, he's crashing again. Bring in the paddles." If true, this meant the Harris family didn't just face a miracle, they faced a blackout. Why wasn't this included in the hospital's public statements? Why did the camera footage from that exact hallway again mysteriously vanish from servers? It wasn't just suspicious, it was starting to feel strategic. Meanwhile, circumstances around the Harris family crumbled even further. Tiny's cousin accused the hospital of lying in an emotional live stream. I was seen outside fighting back tears as he shouted to a growing sea of fans, "You think we're crazy? You think we're lying? Show us the damn tapes." That clip alone amassed over 10 million views in 12 hours. The city was on edge. The internet was feeding itself, and celebrities were no longer whispering, so they were calling people out by name. 50 Cent went live blasting supposed insiders. Y'all know who did this. Some of y'all in the comments working with them. Meek Mill's tweet blew up instantly. "You think this is just jail politics? Wake up." But Kanye's second post made everything spiral out of control. He simply wrote, "They're scared of what that boy knew." But it's too late. The truth is already leaking. Did Kanye know something? Was this a message to back off? Or was this all just social media hysteria getting out of hand? The problem was no one knew. But everyone everywhere had already picked a side. And what's terrifying is this still wasn't the end. By now, this wasn't just about King Harris. It wasn't even about the Harris family anymore. This had become something bigger, darker, a full-fledged war between what people were seeing and what they were being told. One side screaming about a cover-up, sabotage, and industry revenge. The other clinging to the official line that this was just the aftermath of a fight gone too far. But with every leak, every new audio drop, every wiped piece of hospital footage, the public trust shattered further, and then came the final footage, a grainy, low-res ICU hallway feed. 2 masked men, one holding what looked like a hard case, the other standing as lookout. They didn't speak, they just moved. Purposeful, deliberate. The clip ended before showing what they did, but it didn't matter. For millions watching, it confirmed what they feared the most. King Harris wasn't just fighting for his life, he was fighting against forces no one could see. As night fell again, T.I. stepped out of the hospital to address the screaming crowd. Flanked by security, eyes red, voice cracked from crying. He didn't try to act like a celebrity. He looked like a father searching for air in a world that offered none. They told me to prepare for the worst, but how? How do you prepare to bury your son? He didn't deserve this. This is supposed to be a hospital, not a battleground. The crowd screamed back, "We got you! Justice for King!" And we see through it. That clip alone, just 42 seconds, hit 45 million views in 2 days. It wasn't just viral, it was historical. But still, no one truly knew what happened behind those ICU doors. So where does this leave us? A family ripped apart, a city on fire, a teenager left dangling on the edge of life, while millions pray and protest trying to pull him back. And yet, there's no official statement clearing the rumors, no hospital explanations convincing the public, no evidence that feels trustworthy, just whispers, shadows, glimpses of something larger, more calculated. And that leaves one terrifying question screaming through the chaos. Was this a tragic accident or a silent execution? Because if the stories are true, if King Harris carries secrets the world isn't ready to hear, then everything we've seen so far is only the beginning.